The state legislature recently tabled a home rule measure that would have given renters in Boston more protection from displacement. Despite the setback on Beacon Hill, advocates at City Life Vida Urbana have been trying to make headway through community organizing. To tell us about their efforts are the organizer for the JP Rocks area, Alex Ponte-Capellan. Thank you very much for being with us, Alex.
Thank you for inviting me.
I want to start with talking about this home rule measure, the Jim Brooks Stabilization Act. How would this have helped renters?
So the Jim Brooks Stabilization Act would do several things. One, it would get information to tenants that are facing displacement, so information about their rights that they already have. Another thing it would do is it would allow the city to track displacement, let them know where it's happening, who it's happening to, and just they'll be able to use that data to better allocate their resources. And the last thing it does is it helps homeowners that are in foreclosure by giving them certain
protections from lenders
protections.
Trying to enforce them out.
Yeah.
And one thing we should mention as well here is that this is not a law that's cracking down on owners of 3 deckers that they live in. This is something about, I guess, maybe mainly investor owners we're talking about?
Yeah, it only applies for owners. I think it's over 7 units or buildings.
Talk about how much of a difference it makes if a renter knows his or her rights.
Well, I can give you like a little anecdotal evidence. I know of a case where it was an entire building that was being displaced, where a new owner came, and basically wanted to convert the whole building to condos and forced everyone to leave except for one of the units that reached us. And we let them know about their rights. We let them know how to proceed in court. And they were able to stay. And all her neighbors gone.
Now, your organization has been getting renters to band together to strike a better deal with property owners. Can you tell me about some examples where that actually happened?
Yeah, sure. In Roxbury, there was a building on Homestead Ave where there was 5 families that received notices to quit. And out of the 5 families, 4 of them came to City Life, and we helped them reach out to the landlord over several months of us, meeting with the landlord and talking about everyone's financial situation and, the overall character of the neighborhood. And, the landlord came to the table with us, and we wrote a 3-year contract for these tenants, and they're all happy with the deal, and we're moving forward from there.
Now, one of the things I'm impressed by around this is that I usually think of Roxbury and Jamaica Plain now as areas where prices for renters are going up so steeply that it's hard to reach a middle ground. But how do you end up doing that?
Well, I think if a landlord or an investor purchases a building with the intention to remove everybody from the building in order to charge much higher rents, he or she is looking at this as kind of like a long game investment. So I feel like if you're going to do that sort of investing, then you should also calculate, what does it cost for these families that are being removed from their livelihoods, for their environment, and put that into the cost. So if there's a family there, you should know that, I don't want to remove them immediately. Maybe give them enough time to figure things out over a few years, 3 years or something like that. So I feel like just communicating with the landlord or investor and letting them know that, this is people's homes. It's not just a piece of stock that you're buying and trading on the stock market. People live here, they have their whole lives here. And, a lot of times they understand that, and, it hits hard for them.
The other thing that occurs to me, too, is that when renters are faced with a possible eviction, I can imagine somebody panicking because the last thing they want hanging over them on their record is that they got evicted. So I guess it's really important that an organization like yours can step in there and say, wait, just catch your breath here. You got a little more time to work this out. Is that important, really?
Yeah, it's really important that people know that just because they received a notice to quit does not mean that you have to leave. It just means, that your contract is up at this certain time and you can possibly enter a new one, or negotiate with the landlord and figure out what's best in that situation.
I want to come back to what happened at the State House with the Jim Brooks Stabilization Act. There was a big push to get this passed. It was solidly supported by the City Council. The mayor was behind it. So talk about what happened once this got up there at the State House.
Yeah, once it got to the State House, we just feel like our lawmakers let us down, to be honest. And, we have been working on this bill for around 4 years, bringing it to a lot of the folks. The chair of this committee that was reviewing the Jim Brooks, we met with him several times to look over this bill, to review all the language. And, what they were pointing their finger at, which made them table it, was a technicality with the language or something like that. And we've had plenty of time to review all the language in there over the years of us organizing for this. So we really feel like it was the real estate industry that,
Now, when you said you were disappointed with the legislators, I think there were only 3 legislators from Boston on this committee, so I gather this is mainly about people who are not representing Boston.
Exactly, yeah. So, most of the people that are on the committee aren't even from Boston. This was a home rule petition that was, Boston already okayed. So it was up to these people in the committee to be like, okay, Boston, you guys can try this out, see how it works, and, move forward from there. But we feel like the real estate industry, lobbied against it, and, they won this battle, but, we're prepared to move forward, think of new creative ideas to help people in a crisis right now, because, we're receiving tons of cases every week. Single parents getting huge rent increases, whole buildings being converted to condos. Literally every week we're getting tons of cases, and we're in full crisis mode. We really need our legislators to step up to the plate and help us out.
We should mention that if there is anybody who has a need for help, is there a way they can get in touch with City Life?
Yeah, City Life has 2 weekly meetings, one in Jamaica Plain on Tuesdays at 6:30 at 284 Amory Street, and another one in East Boston in Spanish at 28 Paris Street, and that also starts at 6:30.